Hi everyone, and welcome back to Business Communications. This video is a continuation of our unit on effective business writing. I just want to show you a couple of quick resources that you can use. So here I am on our course homepage, and I'm going to scroll down just to orient you to our unit. We're working on this, effective business writing, and hopefully you watched my overview of the unit in which I introduced the due dates, and I mentioned that you have a lot of chapters to do, 6, 7, and 8. Don't forget the writing tutorial. And then I also showed you the prompt, and I talked about the different options that you have for your business startup portfolio. Okay, you're going to be doing a combination of letter and memo writing. It'll vary a little bit depending on which option you choose. I explained that in the overview, but what I want to show you now is where you can go for additional resources. And so you know that if you go into your chapter links, it generally takes you right to the quiz, and that's fine. That's a great way to stay on track, make sure you're doing what you're being graded on. But I also want to remind you that if you go back up here, this is our introductory unit, and it says click here for textbook dashboard. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go ahead and load the textbook, and you'll be able to do this once you've entered your access code, and or if you have a subscription, right? So you should be already working in this. But if you're not used to going to the dashboard, I just want to show you where some of the resources are. So the dashboard has every single chapter, and I think I already showed you when we were back in the good old days when we were in the classroom that anything marked by an orange dot counts for your grade. That's a good way to make sure that you're staying on track. But I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to chapter 6 because that's one of the chapters that you have to do for this unit. And you'll notice that, you can go right down to the quiz. That's way down here. But I want you to take some time to actually go into the chapter, because what you're going to notice is that in the chapter, there's this wonderful resource, and most chapters have it, called Model Documents. And if you click on this, it'll show you how to format a letter. Now, in my overview, I told you that a memo is essentially formatted like an email. I'm going to come back to this in just a minute, but I also want to show you that if you go all the way down, I'm just scrolling through all of the chapters. In the appendices, and the writing tutorial that you have to do is actually way down here. Again, there's a link in the actual unit, in the actual module, but don't forget to do the writing tutorial. But if you go back up here into the appendix, do you see where it says Appendix A, message formats? So if you want additional help in formatting letters, this is also a great resource. But let's go ahead back up to chapter 6. And I'm just going to give you one quick example where it says formatting a direct response letter. Now, the type of letter or memo that you write will depend on which option you choose in my specific prompt. And I already showed you in the previous video different letter formats. There's, Google Docs will have them, Word will have them. There's all kinds of templates. But what the book does that's really cool is the book will break it down for you and show you every single piece. All right, now this is very formal. You might not need every single piece of this in your letter, but it's a good rule to err on the side of being more formal, because that way you just don't forget anything. So again, that's a very formal letter format, and I recommend that you use that with your if you need help with formatting. And again, just to go in and show you one more example, this is technically an email, but an email is formatted in the same way as a memo. Now, here they've actually given the salutation, which is customary for emails. In a memo, you don't, because you have the two, and I mentioned this in my last video, you really don't need the salutation. It's customary for an email, not necessarily for a memo. I won't grade you down. Well, all right, now that we're looking at the full email here, they're actually showing you a letter template. They're showing you the closing, okay? But if you look at just this part here, from here down to here, this up here is memo formatting, and this right here would be the body of the memo. Now, memos don't have to be short. Sometimes people think that a memo, like an email, is a one-page document. You can go ahead and create a table right in your memo, okay? So let me go back out of here. You will find different types of examples in your textbook, and that's what I want to make sure that you pay attention to. So go to the model documents and use the appendix, and you can also use Word and Google Form for additional templates. And I showed you in my previous video sample letters and memos. So make sure you look at all of that. That will help you with your portfolio.